Here we are, climbing the climb trail on Mount Frome. This is in North Shore, North Vancouver. This is a fine example of a fine climbing trail. Lots of switchbacks. The grade keeps reversing, so water can't run down the trail for too long. Another nice switchback there. I'm doing this on my Marin Rift Zone Carbon 2, a very capable bike. Its capabilities come from its geometry, the 65.5 degree head tube angle, travel numbers, 125 millimeters rear, 130 millimeter fork, .76-degree seat tube angle. That lets me sit upright on the gentle inclines and not worry about pulling my weight forward to center my weight on the bike. This section of trails points out that you can ride the shore in the wet because they have a completely different type of soil compared to ours in Alberta. This stuff is mostly broken down granite, so it's quite granular, as opposed to our Alberta dirt being very clay based. So after this stuff dries, you're pretty much just wiping it off with a brush and it all comes off, compared to Alberta mud. When it dries, you just about need a chisel to take it off. I personally think a well-constructed climb trail is key for enjoying a riding area. If you're doing laps, it means you're not going to burn out quite as fast. You can carry on a conversation with somebody while you ride because you're not completely blown to shreds on these trail systems, where the ups, if anything, are a quick, short, punchy thing like this, and then it sort of levels out. So one of the things for riding a new school geometry bike is that you have to concentrate on putting a bit more weight on your hand in the corners to weight the front wheel and allow your front tire to sort of dig in and catch you. If you lean back like some people do as a sort of natural cautious pose, you're already naturally cautious, but what you find is that leaning back then makes you feel like you need to be even more cautious because the front wheel keeps on sliding. So proper technique leads to more confidence, leads to being able to ride faster and be more confident at the same time. Just because this is a good climbing trail doesn't mean it's easy. Still working hard here. I'll catch you again on the downhill, show you how this bike handles that stuff. So this is the bike that I'm riding. This is the 2020, which is also the same as the 2021, Marin Rift Zone Carbon 2. So rear travel 125, the fork 130 mil travel. I was tempted to switch that to a 140 because that's been a habit of mine, putting longer forks on a lot of bikes. But honestly, after riding this thing for a while, it just rides so well as is. I don't know if that would have improved anything except for making me feel a little bit cooler. I did switch to a 1-up dropper, as you can see by the amount of extension sticking out here. This is a 210 millimeter dropper and a size large. So they're building these to allow for a lot of length in the dropper. So for regular people, I'm 6'1" at the tall end of a size large, but even if you had if you had short legs or long legs, the way they're designing these frames, shortening this distance is helping to put a long dropper on and not run into to issues of being forced into a shorter dropper because your frame is too short. Part of the magic on these guys, rear end length 425 millimeters, this size large, reach, so reach numbers when we talk about that, straight up from the cranks and then forward, 480 millimeters. I find that to be on the short end of my sweet spot. I would say anything from 480 to 500, and I can ride a bike really comfortably within that range. XT derailleur on here. The brakes are SLX 4-piston. They have been awesome. The one thing with this bike is it's a really affordable bike, around $5,600 for carbon with XT and Fox performance stuff on it, especially a DPX2. But in some cases you upgrade bikes because they need it. In this case, I upgraded a lot of things in this bike because I just felt like it really deserved it. It was just such a good platform. The fact that the frame, drivetrain, suspension and brakes, I could keep that. It was wheels. These are WR1 wheels on DT Swiss hubs. I put some Cane Creek E-Wing titanium cranks on here, which also allowed me to switch to a 170 length. So even though I have freakish long legs, I like a shorter crank. Both, I like the feel and the fact that you can pedal through a little bit more stuff without striking your pedals. 1-up pedals, so we're big fans of 1-up in the shops of the pedals seat post. I've also got the 1-up oval chainring on here, a 32 tooth to go with. I do have a Sunrace cassette on there. I would ideally have put a Shimano cassette on, but this is a set of wheels I've had for a bit, so it doesn't have the micro spline for Shimano's 1051, so we've got an 1150 12 speed on there. I put on WTB, what is this thing called? Pure saddle, one of their more padded saddles in their lineup. We've also got Race Face Next handlebars, my Garmin 530. And I actually even shortened the stem, even though this bike is on the shorter end for me. And that's, I think this is a Race Face turbine stem. Lastly, for upgrades, I put on Sorry for my blood there, I got bloody noses when I ride. These are 29 by 2.6 Schwalbe Hands Dampf tires, which I am a really big fan of. This is like the second season I've been riding these, and they have lasted incredibly well. Lastly, we've got some Chromag grips on here, and that's pretty much what we're playing with today. I'm going to ride it down a hill now. So now we're into Expresso. Always weird riding a trail, you know, is a pile of fun, but it's been just long enough you don't remember a damn thing about it. Especially good when it's nice and wet out and you're smart enough to know no traction on the Expresso rock. Woo! I knew that was coming. As I was going over the top there, had to make sure that my dropper was all the way down. Oh, didn't even know about this one, I don't think. One thing a friend of mine told me the first time I was out at North Shore, whatever you do, don't try breaking on the wood papers. And I've always taken that to heart. So I have ridden this trail before, but besides that rock roll we went over, don't remember the details. Just remembered seeing that in a video of somebody else's POV and knowing it was something I wanted to do. am I going in here? Not a clue. Maybe a rock roll? It is slick, so I'm not going to be an idiot. That must be the end of something. The two trails meet here or what? Oh, lower Expresso. That's a shame. Hate to miss a feature. Why they call that black is beyond me.